Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dive into the exciting world of paperwork. Just kidding, I know financial reports aren't exactly beach reading, but trust me, today's report has some interesting twists and turns. Think of it as a thriller, but with more numbers and less suspense. Or maybe more, depending on how you look at it. Today we're cracking open Arcturus Therapeutics' latest annual report. This isn't just another biotech company, they've actually got a commercially approved product. But are they set for long-term success, or are there hidden risks lurking in the fine print? Let's find out. First up, what does Arcturus even do? They're in the business of messenger RNA medicines, or mRNA for short. You've probably heard of this thanks to the COVID vaccines. mRNA basically tells your cells how to make proteins, which can be used to fight diseases or, in Arcturus' case, prevent them. They've got two main technologies. One for designing the mRNA itself, called STARR, and another for delivering it into cells, called LUNAR. Think of it like having a special recipe and a super efficient delivery service all in one. And speaking of delivery, the big news is that Arcturus actually has a product on the market. Their COVID-19 vaccine, called KOSTAIVE, is approved in Japan and now also in Europe. This makes them one of the few mRNA companies that has successfully gone from the lab to actual sales. This approval was based on clinical data from studies in Vietnam and Japan. A study in Vietnam with over 19,000 adults showed that 2 doses of their vaccine were effective against multiple COVID strains. Commercial sales of KOSTAIVE started in Japan in October 2024, with an updated version targeting the JN.1 Omicron subvariant. It is the first commercially available self-amplifying mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. But the news doesn't stop there. Arcturus has other irons in the fire. They kicked off a trial for a seasonal influenza vaccine, teaming up with CSL Seqirus and another one for bird flu with funding from BARDA. It seems that BARDA, or the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, has made an award to advance a vaccine to protect against H5N1. In the longer term, it means that the government will shoulder the cost of early-stage developments. They're also working on treatments for rare diseases, ornithine transcarbamylase or OTC, deficiency, and cystic fibrosis. For OTC, they wrapped up dosing in a Phase 2 study of their drug ARCT-810 and are expanding that trial into the US. And for cystic fibrosis, they started dosing in a Phase 2 study of ARCT-032. A completed safety and tolerability Phase 1b clinical study of ARCT-032 in adults with CF showed that it is generally safe and well tolerated. One key to Arcturus's strategy is their LUNAR platform, which uses lipid nanoparticles to deliver mRNA into cells. They're constantly tinkering with these lipids to make them more effective and safer. They have over 300 proprietary lipids that are used to target cell types for more efficient and safer medicine delivery. Protecting all this innovation is crucial, so Arcturus has a pretty hefty patent portfolio with over 500 patents and pending applications. If issued, their patents are expected to expire between 2028 and 2045. A lot of Arcturus's success hinges on partnerships, especially their collaboration with CSL Seqirus for vaccines. The partnership earned them a $200 million upfront payment and potential future development milestones. A couple of milestones have been adjusted, but nothing material as per the company. We are good to go. Through a joint venture, ARCALIS, Arcturus got awarded grants from the Japanese government of up to $165 million. ARCALIS will be used to manufacture DNA and mRNA vaccines. They also have a cost reimbursement contract with BARDA for developing a low-dose pandemic influenza candidate. The contract provides for reimbursement of Arcturus permitted costs up to $63.2 million. That's a nice sum. The old agreements, such as the Ultragenyx agreements, are still in place, even though there hasn't been much activity going on there recently. Now, let's peek at the financials. For the year, they had revenues of $152.3 million, mainly from their collaboration with CSL. Operating expenses were a hefty $247.9 million, resulting in an operating loss of $95.7 million. While that number may seem scary, biotech companies will spend a lot of money on R&D to see future potential. They ended the year with $237 million in cash. That sounds like a decent amount of runway, but it should all be put into context with how much they spend on a yearly basis. Looking ahead, Arcturus expects to burn through some of their cash reserves during 2025, using it to fund the clinical trials for their rare disease programs and to keep the lights on. All this spending is why they are going to need more cash or future revenue from sales. One thing to note is that Arcturus has exposure to interest rate risk, especially under its loan agreements. So if interest rates go up, their borrowing costs could increase. They also mention that they have a material weakness in their internal controls, which means there could be some problems with their financial reporting. This is something they're working to fix, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Another key risk is the possibility of intellectual property lawsuits. The field of mRNA patents is crowded, and it's possible that Arcturus could get sued for infringing on someone else's patents. This could be costly and delay their development efforts. In the modern age, cybersecurity has become a major topic and concern to consider. Arcturus is aware of its presence, and although they haven't encountered any major issues, it is still possible to happen. Management briefs the board of directors regarding risks that could arise. The Risk and Audit Committee is primarily responsible for overseeing risks of threats. Finally, in some housekeeping matters, one of their executives did adopt a Rule 10b 5-to-1 trading arrangement, which is basically a pre-planned way to buy or sell company stock. Also, Keith C. Kummerfeld terminated his Rule 10b 5-to-1 trading arrangement. So what's the overall picture here? Arcturus is definitely an interesting company. They have a unique technology, a commercialized product, and are working on vaccines for lots of diseases. They are looking toward the future and innovating every step of the way. I mean, just take a look at their pipeline. However, there are risks. They need to generate more revenue, manage their expenses carefully, and avoid any legal or regulatory roadblocks. This is biotech, so it is inherently risky. While revenue is not yet there, they do appear to have a decent cash runway, so the lights will stay on for a while. However, it does concern me how much money that they spend to make revenue. I feel like more cost cutting should be implemented to be leaner. Overall, Arcturus has a lot of promise, but they are operating in a tough environment, especially as it relates to competitors, and the path ahead won't be easy. Whether you think it's a good investment will depend on how much risk you're willing to take. It is definitely not a safe investment in any regards given how much money it spends yearly and how unpredictable clinical trials can be. It all boils down to if you're willing to bet on their technology. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more corporate decoder action. Let me know in the comments what company I should review next.